comes to mind when I say the words the devil? You might be picturing a horned figure in a fiery hell, holding a pitchfork and laughing at all of the tortured souls standing before him. And while that has come to be the most common depiction of the devil we recognize today has evolved from multiple different sources, being both religious and folkloric. Hello my witchy friends, my name is Sophie, I'm the Midwest Magician. Welcome to the channel, or welcome back if you are a returning subscriber. In today's video, I wanted to go over the differences between the Christian and the folkloric devil, as well as exploring the different deities that may have influenced the evolution of the devil we know today. And before we jump in, I do want to put out a little disclaimer. The word Christian is in the title of this video, so there may or may not be Christians that stumble across this video. And I do want to be very clear, this is a channel about witchcraft and not Christianity. I do want to let you know that you are welcome to stay, you're welcome to be on the channel and explore however you would like. But I do want to set a boundary. If you are unable to have a mutual respect for witchcraft and understanding that there are different worldviews outside of Christianity, if you feel the need to ask people in my comments sections to repent, then my warm welcome is going to be revoked and you will be blocked from my channel. But with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive into the video. First, I want to talk about the Christian devil. Lucifer, or the morning star, was a very prominent angel that rebelled against God. Just a few references regarding his expulsion from heaven would be Isaiah chapter 14 verse 12 and Revelation chapter 12 verses 7 through 9. His role within Christian theology is as the adversary of both God and humanity. Within the Christian mythology, he is a representation of pure evil, temptation, and the pure source of sin in this world. Essentially, they see the devil as a tempter, as a deceiver, and essentially the source of anything bad that could happen to you. I want to go over some key characteristics of Lucifer, or the Christian devil, and let's start with his appearance. Pre-fallen angel form, we've seen descriptions of Lucifer as a very tall, handsome, angelic figure, often depicted with golden curls, blushy cheeks, bright eyes, and very large, beautiful wings. However, post-fall from heaven, Lucifer, or Satan, or the Christian devil, really takes on kind of a monstrous form. He's depicted with horns, often with either red or pitch black skin, again holding a pitchfork with sharp teeth and glowing yellow eyes, which honestly is quite the transformation. That must have been one tough fall. Another key characteristic is going to be his behavior as well as his purpose. The Christian devil's purpose is to lead humans astray. His main goal is to tempt you into sin and away from salvation. And sin is a whole entirely different topic that I am not going to get into within this video, but the whole idea of his purpose is to tempt you into eternal damnation, where you would reside in hell, being forever tortured and punished by the devil. The thing that I find the most interesting about the Christian devil is just how much he has evolved from influences such as the Divine Comedy, which more specifically we're talking about Dante's Inferno, or Paradise Lost. But let's switch gears to talk about the folkloric devil because it is quite different from the Christian devil. Ooh, spooky! I don't know if you can hear the thunder on camera. The folkloric devil differs from culture to culture, blending different local traditions and beliefs with existing ideas of the devil. A lot of early representations would be nature spirits, ancient gods, or different trickster gods. Similarly to the Christian devil, there is a lot of temptation involved with the folkloric devil. However, the folkloric devil is known to be more of a trickster than a tempter, and is always willing to bargain with you. And personally, the thing that I think of when I think of the folkloric devil and offering bargains or tricks would be with Robert Johnson, the blues musician, who claims that he sold his soul to the devil at the crossroads in return for musical success. The folkloric devil's appearance is going to be a lot less uniform than the Christian devil, as there are sources citing that it could be a horned man, it could be a man dressed in all black, it could be a shadow figure, it could be a goat, or even just a charming stranger. The folkloric devil's goals often reflect a lot of human emotions. It could be fear, it could be desire, and even temptation. But really at the end of the day, this figure is going to offer things like power, things like wealth, again, musical ability, which would be tied to desire, or even just hidden knowledge. However, this does come at a price, and typically that is going to be in exchange for servitude, exchange for a set amount of offerings, and you better not miss your offering. Or like our previous example, Robert Johnson, that would be in exchange for his mortal soul. I think the main difference between the Christian devil and the folkloric devil is that morally, he is a lot more ambiguous. There is no pure evil with the folkloric devil. You might get tricked, but the difference between the Christian devil and the folkloric devil is that with the Christian devil, you fall into temptation, you are damned to hell for eternity. With the folkloric devil, he can trick you, but you can also trick him back. There are loopholes and ways to get out of bargains with the folkloric devil. In fact, his intentions seem a lot more human than the Christian devil. In a lot of cases, people will bargain with the folkloric devil when they're at their most desperate, which leaves a lot of space and room for the folkloric devil to trick or deceive you. However, the difference is it's not as cut and dry with the folkloric devil. You can change your bargain, you can outsmart the folkloric devil, you can beat him in a fiddle contest. Oftentimes, I feel like a lot of the tricks are just kind of for entertainment or enjoyment of the folkloric devil. I wouldn't say the folkloric devil is purely evil or purely good. He is just a trickster spirit. With the folkloric devil, there are a lot more avenues to explore than the Christian devil, which is just going to send you to hell no matter what you do. Which is honestly a little bit confusing to me when you think about the Christian devil. When you fall into temptation and go with what he wants, then you get punished by him? It doesn't quite make sense to me. But anyways, let's move on from this and talk about different deities that could have influenced the folkloric devil. Now, the one that I personally associate with the folkloric devil the most would be Pan from the Greek mythology. And I apologize if I'm pronouncing it so Chicago. Pan. Pan is going to be a god of nature and wild places. He is often depicted with goat-like features, having horns, and a lot of the times he has hooves, which could possibly be an inspiration for the devil's image. The next one is going to be Cernunnos, and that is with Celtic mythology. I apologize if I mispronounced this, but Cernunnos is the horned god of fertility, animals, and the forest, so really a lot of overlap with Pan. He has associations with kind of the untamed forces of nature, which may have been demonized into the figure of the devil later on in folklore. Another influence could be Baphomet. Baphomet's a little bit more of an ambiguous figure, often associated with the Knights Templar, with Freemasons, and is very prominent within occultism. Often he's depicted as a kind of human goat-like hybrid, which I could definitely see influencing modern depictions of the devil. We can also see some Norse influence within the folkloric devil with figures such as Loki, who is a trickster god that often causes a lot of mischief among the other Norse gods. Again, while not evil, Loki's influence as a disruptor might have contributed to the trickster nature of what we see as the folkloric devil today. So now that we've kind of talked about both the Christian devil, the folkloric devil, and what may have influenced the folkloric devil, let's talk about just the key differences between the two. The Christian devil is going to be a theological absolute. He is purely evil. He is an enemy of God. There is no wiggle room there. While the folkloric devil is going to be more up to cultural differences, oftentimes blending ideas of ancient gods alongside local folklore, people's fears, people's desires and emotions, as well as blending in different gods and spirits. And again, another big difference is the morals between the two. The Christian devil is going to be morally absolute. This is a purely evil figure, directly associated with sin, directly associated with evil and damnation. While again, the folkloric devil is often a lot more ambiguous. This figure is capable of offering bargains, and again, often acts as a trickster spirit for his own amusement. And the last thing is just kind of their roles within society. The Christian devil is going to be every force of evil that you see within the world. This is so redundant with the Christian devil. Everything's evil, everything's absolute. There's no wiggle room. Christian devil is going to be the ultimate form of punishment within society. Christians often will grapple with their different temptations and fear of going to hell and being tortured by the devil. The folkloric devil leaves a lot more wiggle room and a lot more room to interpret things on a situation by situation basis. I want to ask, what do you think? Do you see the Christian devil and the folkloric devil as one and the same? Do you see them as two different figures? Do you think the devil is purely theological? Or do you see how folklore's influence has kind of made the devil into a cultural symbol? Do you work with either of these figures? I would love to know your thoughts, your experiences, anything that you want to share in the comments down below. I am also going to link a few different YouTubers that talk about the folkloric devil. They have a lot more personal gnosis with the folkloric devil, and that is going to be Polish Folk Witch, Jasmine Ambrosia, and Abby the Witch. I'm going to link their channels in the description box down below if you wanted to check them out. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know when talking about the Christian devil, it kind of gets a little bit redundant because it's just a very black and white type of worldview where devil equals evil and wrong and God equals good and right. So breaking down the Christian devil it's a little redundant, I will say. Regardless, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna put it under my What's the Difference series playlist. If you haven't seen the other 3 videos, those are all available and up right now to watch. If you made it to the end of the video, can you leave one of those little purple devil emojis down in the comments below? I love to see who watches all the way to the end. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you guys very soon for the next video. Bye.